now. And hold on. There we go. Recording audio. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The World of Warcraft podcast, so you don't have to. This is The Instance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Instance for July 14th, 2020. It is episode 607. I'm Scott Johnson, joined today by Patrick Beja. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Scott.
Oh, happy Bastille Day, or however you say it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we are celebrating the brutal murdering of our former ruling class. So thank you for celebrating it with us.
I was going to ask you actually I feel bad I don't really know what Bastille Day is, or even if I'm saying it right.
Oh,
but,
really?
Yeah, not really.
Okay. It is essentially the French Revolution, which deposed the king, the last king of, well, actually, that's not true. The king of France, and essentially led to a very difficult few years of terror and horror, but then partly gave us human rights and democracy.
Very nice. So is this the thing it covers in that the Assassin's Creed everybody was mad at a few years ago because it had so many bugs?
Absolutely.
Unity? Okay.
1789 is when I'll give you a reference. You can let them eat cake.
Oh,
that is where it comes from.
I didn't know that.
It's Marie Antoinette who's like, what? They don't have bread? Give them brioche, which is not really cake. That always bothered me. It's not cake. It's but that's how you translate it because you don't know what it is. So yeah.
All right. No, this is good. A little history lesson on the show.
Hey, in July, George Washington said, "Let them eat hot dogs."
Yeah,
so we get it here in the States.
We have our own version.
Also
That's
good.
right. Never forget. Okay. Hey, also Garrett is here, of course, from Florida, which doesn't have any special days today. Right, you guys are it's just a day.
No. July is just a great month for evolution. Is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Revolutionary as it may be, we got Shadowlands stuff to talk about in a minute. But before we get to it, kind of breaking this morning, and Garrett's been hurriedly getting ready for a Angry Chicken announcement of all this stuff. But can you kind of give us a breakdown of what happened today in Hearthstone? We'll do it now instead of later. What did they announce this morning?
The next expansion.
Okay, that's good, right? That was fast. I feel like we just barely got the other one. How come that was so fast?
No, it's about on pace. Last year we got our announcement around this time. I don't think they put out a release date, but last year we got an announcement in July and a release in August. So I would expect it to do around the same.
Yeah.
So we're going to Scholomance, but before it's all creepy and Western Plaguelandsy, I got no other way to easily explain this other than mad Hogwarts vibes. It's called Scholomance Academy.
Okay.
We're going to school. Kel'Thuzad is our headmaster. He has skin. He's still alive.
Whoa, jeez.
And there's dual class cards that are going to be able to go in 2 separate classes when you're building decks. There's a new keyword. Some really cool stuff.
Nice. So is anything in? Let me ask you this. It's kind of a weird question, but. And people are encouraged, by the way, to watch the video they put out for this thing. It's about 10 minutes long. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but it looks like they had a lot of fun with hey, we have to do this stuff working from home kind of production.
It's amazing.
It is so. I would even if you don't care about Hearthstone at all, go watch it. It is so well written. It is so funny. It's honestly, I've been gushing about it for the past hour since I watched it. Yeah. It is the kind. So I watched that, which is essentially people from the Hearthstone team getting on what is a Skype call on the Kel'Thuzad custom OS, and stuff happens on the computer. It is so funny, so well done. And then I watched the beginning of the Stadia Connect, which it is so facepalmy. I mean, it's just a person in front of a screen of a camera.
Yeah.
And this is so brilliantly written. You will giggle. Like, it's a humorous video to watch. Go watch it. It's a work of genius.
I'm into it. I love a fake OS. That's one of my favorite things. So it's fun to watch.
The freaking cursor is like Kel'Thuzad's pointy finger from like Warcraft 3. It's wonderful.
That's great.
It's very meta. And if I, having been inundated with, 20 to 40 different types of here at this giant corporation, we're adjusting to the new normal. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Team 5 gets it. They understand how to have fun with the hellhole we find ourselves in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. That makes me really happy to hear that. Very cool.
It's really, I mean, for the past few months, obviously, it's been difficult to deal with the situation and how to handle things when you have to communicate. And this is the first video that I'm seeing that is not just, we have to do a Zoom call. Let's get everyone on the Zoom call and then record the screen. It's like so much better, and it's almost like you would want them to do something like that instead of meeting in person. It's so good.
Well, the only thing that bums me out is I wish the Shadowlands stream was more like this. The Shadowlands stream was really straightforward. It was just, hey, what if we had a webcam on Ian Hazakostas, and that was it.
Yeah, but it was an hour or something, the Shadowlands stream. This is 10 minutes, very tight, very scripted.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, this entire thing is scripted, whereas the Shadowlands thing maybe should have been. I mean, some of it was a little on the awkward side, but also I think it's because of the content that they had to put out. Like it was extremely technical.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's it would take a lot of effort to make that long of a runtime for that technical of a subject.
Yeah.
To be as kind of funny and carefree. I think
the Hearthstone thing clearly benefits from the kind of game Hearthstone is and the attitude it has, and this just fits right with that. So well done, Hearthstone.
Yeah, because I mean they showed, I think less than 10 cards, so it's just like here's a taster of what's to come. So they had a very select amount of things to move through, and so from like an advertising perspective, a lot more controllable subject matter, I think, with what Hearthstone announced today versus the very technical live stream for World of Warcraft we had last week.
Well done, Team 5, and I'm very curious about this expansion, even though I'm kind of like Patrick, like, well, what's going to get me to play again? I don't know. Maybe there's something in there. I don't know. Never know.
Yeah. Never
know. All right. Time for this. Let us dig deeper into what we learned last week. When I guess it was just last Wednesday. I can't believe it's almost a week already. But Garrett and I did a live stream of it, or a live co-stream, and then kind of did a little bit of a breakdown after. But it was all pretty fresh and new, and we hadn't gotten into too much of the minutia. Also, Blizzard has sent some other people out, Ian included, and done a load of interviews, which we've been able to glean a few things from. Nothing too new, but enough to sort of augment stuff. So I broke this down today in a few categories. Things about the release, the beta that is supposed to be happening this week. Although, did they say the day yet? I don't think they have. Yeah. They just said this week you'd start to see invite emails. So that could be anything. That could be today, maybe, because Tuesdays are a fun video game release day type day. So maybe they'll do today. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think anybody's received anything yet. We'll also talk about significant things mentioned about the gameplay itself and what has maybe changed since we last heard, that sort of thing. And we'll sort of just start from the top. And Patrick, I know that you weren't able to watch this live, I guess, last week, and haven't really had too much in the way of detail about everything they talked about. So I guess some of the stuff I feel like is assumed, but if we hit anything and you go, wait a minute, don't just gloss over that, feel free to say those exact words, and we'll dig in more. All right, so to start things off, the release is still confirmed for fall. No actual date. I kind of wish there would have been a date. I think Garrett and I talked about this a little bit on Wednesday.
You and everyone on the internet.
Yeah. A date would have been nice. Just to be able to say, all right, my world revolves around whatever. I noticed Kyle in my Slack that we have for our Dungeons and Dragons show said something a minute ago, which was here he says, Baldur's Gate in August, Cyberpunk and Shadowlands in November, gonna be crazy. They haven't even said November, so I don't know where Kyle's getting that, but I saw that this morning and went, wait, has Kyle heard something? And then I went and looked and I couldn't find anything. So
no, there's still no Kyle's crazy.
Yeah.
That was great.
I mean,
don't listen to Kyle unless it's Heroes of the Storm.
If anyone should know, it'd be you. You or his wife. You guys are the You guys know him more than anybody, but the normally fully reliable Kyle may not so much in this case. But yeah, we don't know. It just says fall, and like I said Wednesday, I'm fine with that. I don't care kind of when. I just would be nice if we had a date to sort of, I don't know, get our heads around and say, okay, well that does come this long before these other games I'm interested in, or whatever, because it's starting to get kind of it's becoming a crowded fall for game releases, and this doesn't help me much to not have a date. So anyway, Blizzard, give us a date. That's all we're asking. But confirmed for the fall. He did say that multiple times. Also, they showed off the Shadowlands Physical Collector's Edition. So this was pretty cool. It has this like reflective / iridescent cover to it, which normally I don't like that kind of stuff. It always feels a little kitschy to me and not really my jam. But from what I could tell from the camera angles and subsequent photos that have been released, it looks really cool and like the kind of physical collector's edition you might want to get. And finally, after 2 expansions without it, art book. It's back. And Garrett and I already gushed. But
I thought about you, Garrett, so hard when I read this.
Yeah, he was pretty excited.
I mean, these collector's editions are, I think, uncomfortably expensive now, to be frank. But at least they brought the art book back. I thought the last one, or what was it, last 2?
2.
Legion didn't have an art book.
Legion didn't
either.
have an art book either. Yeah, that was the
I
big
think the last 2
disappointment.
were, like, straight up, in my opinion, a complete and utter ripoff. And their value proposition.
Because there's no art book. That's
yeah,
it.
they raised the price and then they gave you less.
Yeah, that's right. It did go up, and then there was less stuff in
the
there.
price went up again, even with this, but at least they're putting the art book back. So, like, I still kind of want. I don't know. I think I'm gonna personally risk just finding the art book on eBay. $120. That's a lot of freaking money.
It is a lot. Actually, Patrick, where do you stand on collector's editions? I know you have some, but are you day one kind of guy?
So I managed to pre-order it.
Yeah.
Because I'm stuck. I have all of them, and that's the only collector's edition series I've ever gotten.
Right.
And I have all of them. I can't not buy the next one, and that's why they're raising the price. I guarantee you, it's because of me. Because they know they can get money out of me, no matter what happens. I'm not going to show you my collection with the webcam, although maybe well, you know what it is. It's just all of the World of Warcraft collector's editions.
Yep.
Bunch of giant boxes.
Yeah.
I have everything but Burning Crusade. I don't know why I don't have that one, but I don't have Burning Crusade, and it kind of bothers me.
I stopped at Legion because there's no art book, and then I still never got my Wrath of the Lich King one because my local game store screwed me over, even though I had one pre-ordered.
Yeah. My favorite one is the Legion one.
I didn't have, I didn't start playing WoW with the release of the game, so I didn't actually have the original one, and one was actually rare. It's the only one that was rare at the time, because they didn't.
Yeah,
it was going to be that.
I don't have that one either.
I have that one, but I don't think I bought it. I don't know how I got it. Someone sent it, but I don't remember what the deal was. Anyway,
but then Blizzard went and hired me for a few years.
Yeah.
And I was telling that story a few days ago. It's funny, but they had a storage room where they stored stuff. And among that stuff were a few items, including a collector's edition collection. And that had the original one. And so, long story short, I didn't steal it, but after a comfortable amount of time,
because no one was looking. So I walked away with it.
Did wait for the clerk for a really long time. No, I waited an amount of time, which was counted in years, until I would be comfortable enough and I knew enough the person in charge of the storage. And then I was like, hey, do you think, no one's using those? And there are still 2 left. So if I take one, there will still be 1 left. That's okay, right? And they looked at me and they were like, I don't remember what they said, but I took it.
It worked out for you
Patrick,
in the end.
What is meaning to say is he literally spent years befriending this person just so he could get the okay to take this.
You think the French Revolution happened in 1792? I have news for you. It happened right there in the thing. My favorite one is this one right here, which I will now hold up for the chat room. It's the Legion Collector's Edition with everyone's signatures on it. on the WoW team at the time.
Oh, that is nice. Yes.
Back and front. It's got Metzen in there somewhere. It was from a friend at Blizzard who said, I won't need this. Do you want it? And I said, are you kidding? Of course I want it. How much do you want for it? He says, nothing. I'll give you this one. So he sent this. And honestly, I should be happy with this. If I don't ever get or see another collector's edition again.
Understandable.
I mean, this still has the wrapped discs and there's no art book, but oh no, there is an art book in this one. You know what? Legion had an art book. Here it is right there.
Legion had an art book?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought Legion was when they stopped it.
I did too. Was it just the last expansion? It must have been.
Oh, I guess I need to get on eBay because I don't have that one.
All right. Well, that one's I haven't opened it either, so I haven't actually looked at the art book because it's all still in its original packaging. But anyway, if you guys want this new one,
the Shadowlands one?
I don't know. I'm not really a collector's edition person. What else is in here is interesting. Like in here, we've got full color art book, which you talked about, the Covenant pin set. So there's a different pin for every Covenant. Those actually look pretty cool if you're into pins, I guess. The soundtrack's in there, of course, mouse pad, and the physical collector's edition of the game. The game, or I guess it's just a code now. They don't put the
Wait, what's the physical collector's edition?
I take it back. I kept in my head. I was thinking
there won't be a CD in there.
Yeah, they don't put DVDs in there anymore. So I'm sure it's just an
audio cassette.
Yeah,
something.
The 8-track, you get that finally, which would be great.
Exactly.
But it's pretty much what you expect. I think the real value in this one is the returning art book, and maybe those pins are cool, but it's a pretty big ask for that collector's edition. So I don't know. I'm not that put out. And also, like, what happens if one of those closets opens up and suddenly somebody's got like 3 extras and they send us one? Then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I already paid for this thing. So I'm just gonna wait.
Well, I mean, you can. First of all, you could resell it. Second of all, you could give it out to a listener. Third of all, I don't know, something. It's not like you won't find a use for a collector's edition.
That's true.
But then if you want it, you already have it because they are sold out everywhere, and it's looking like it will be difficult to get. So,
well, let me ask you this: the original vanilla collector's edition, which I have in plastic, not ever even opened.
Oh, is it? What could
that get me?
I checked on eBay. It's something like $1,000 to $1,500, which
bad.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
But you're not going to sell it for that, right?
No,
if you have it.
No, if somebody said 10 grand,
what are you doing?
I would do it for 10,000. I won't do it for 1,500. So if
you're just waiting for the day that it's worth $10,000. Is that what you're doing?
Well,
open it for the love of God. Do it for me.
But Garrett, that's what people do.
I want that panda. Damn it!
I know. There's a panda. There's what else? The Zergling pet.
And a Diablo.
Diablo. Yeah. The other one.
Yeah. I have those. I opened mine.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
I got this way late is the thing, and so I've never opened it because it just seemed like, oh well, this is a collector's edition now. I should hang on to this and let it accrue value. But I don't know how much more valuable it'll get than $1,500.
Oh, I think let's put it like that. Your children will enjoy the accrued value.
They'll each buy a Miata with 150,000 miles on it.
I need to adjust my will. I'm going to put this in there as a line item. We're going to make a big deal out of it. To my son, I bequeath my collector's edition vanilla World of Warcraft. All right. Anyway, so that's a thing, and it's like we said, available, but not really because they're selling out everywhere, and you're probably going to have a hard time getting one.
And it's got a shiny cover like package thing. It's like it's essentially a shiny Pokemon card.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's very much like a foil from Magic the Gathering. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of.
Good comparison.
It looks cool. It's gonna make it stick out like a sore damn thumb when it's turned sideways with all of the other collector's editions. But yeah, it
sets it apart though because the others are kind of bland, not bland, but they're monochrome and sort of.
Yeah, they've tried to keep them looking very similar.
But they always look like nice, like you got a nice leather book set up on your shelf. Like they're very classy. So I hope the new one doesn't clash too much with.
Funny enough, the one I'm the proudest of is the Diablo 3 Collector's Edition because it's the only one I actually had trouble finding.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
I was calling 3 different Best Buys within driving distance the day of, like every hour on the hour, and I finally found one that someone called in and said, "You know what? I don't need it. Just put it out on the shelf." And
Wow.
and so someone at Best Buy was like, "Yo, we just got clearance to sell one. If you can get here in time." And
And you got
the
it.
speed limits were broken that day.
Of course. I have that one too, but I don't know where it is. I feel bad. I don't know where it is, but it's a good one. Also signed by a bunch of names. I don't know. Whoever used to send these at Blizzard, they're not there anymore. I don't know who they were. I had this very kind benefactor that would not even use a name. I would just show up in the mail. Be like, oh, look, a signed
That's
thing.
how I got the Overwatch art book. My buddy, I know he listens. I won't mention you by name because I don't know if that gets you in trouble or not, but it is very much appreciated.
Yeah, of course. That stuff's always nice. For those who think our pockets are lined with Blizzard money, really they're just lined with occasional giveaways. That's
Yes,
how
I think I've gotten maybe a total of 8 free shirts and 2 free books.
Yep, I got a nice.
And a Hearthstone towel.
Oh,
I
there
got a
you go.
Hearthstone towel.
That's right. You got to always bring a towel. Don't forget to bring a towel. All right, the beta. We have some news on the beta. Shadowlands beta enters this week, or the beta, or people will enter it this week. Again, no emails yet, at least here, and I've not heard from anybody who has. Nothing on the Reddit. So I think we're just in wait mode. And the MAW will be there to test. So in between last Wednesday and Friday, I got a chance to go check all that out and logged into basically a test server environment and tried some of the introduction stuff. I didn't have all the VO in it. It didn't have all the shine and sprinkle on everything, but it looked like pretty much feature complete. The introduction of my character, in this case, was a pre-built mage, but in theory would be GURP or whoever I'm playing, and got to experience some of that initial stuff. I got to hang out with Bolvar, and then he'd tell us what to do and where to go. We started Ice Crown. We teleported all over the place. We end up in the Maw, and I was just starting to quest in there when this whole thing ended. So, so far, looks good. Looks solid. People are going to see the same stuff soon, so watch for that. You'll be able to level to 60 in beta and test endgame if you want to. None of us at this table are really endgame beta testers. But I do look forward to... I haven't either. But I look forward to the people who do and seeing their videos and stuff. Like, I want to see, how all the Covenant endgame stuff goes and how people do with Torghast and everything else. I mean, I want to see some of this ahead of time, but I don't want to experience it until it's like out in the wild. And we're out of beta, so that's still kind of where I stand on that. They did say they were explicit in the thing, and they've said in other venues that beta will be feature complete, but work still remains. Not really specific about what that is, but I would assume some of the polish that I noticed missing, like some VO was missing, where 2 characters are having a conversation, and one of them's voiced. I can't remember if Bolvar had a voice. I don't think he did yet. And he was talking in text only, and I wasn't getting any voice out of him. And clearly, it was the kind of in-game dialogue that you're supposed to hear. So I assume all that stuff's coming, and they'll just.
He just keeps saying it still burns.
Yeah, he just kept saying it still burns. This helmet's a burden.
I have used the entire tube of ointment.
Yes, and it still
And
burns.
it still burns.
Yeah, it's bad. Look at me.
Aloe.
Send aloe. All of Azeroth's aloe stores will be mine. Anyway.
Well, in Shadowlands, aloe only comes from Ardenweald, so he needs to wait until he gets there in the story.
Ardenweald, really? They control all...
Well, they have all the plants.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, that doesn't seem good. Then they're going to have a real advantage in the marketplace. They need to regulate that.
Only as it relates to Bolvar.
Okay.
Everyone else is fine.
Everyone else is fine. We're just using the normal amount of aloe. He's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was cool to see him in his full glory. He's big, tall. They always make the main characters in these stories. They scale him up. So he's just a big, tall dude. And standing on Ice Crown at the throne where we beat Arthas and watched all that go down. And that expansion so long ago was really fun to see all that again. In this new context, and there were Horde and Alliance all gathered around listening to what was being said or what wasn't being said, depending on which what VO was going on. No sign of Sylvanas in what I saw yet, but again, didn't get super far. But that whole introductory thing is there and ready to rock as soon as people get the beta, and it's not in the alpha, or it wasn't. I don't know if it is this week or whatever's happening in the alpha right now. I don't know. What else? Let's see. They're going to start Castle and Etheria raid testing. It'll begin later this month. So there you go, Raiders. I gave you a piece of the pie here. Get excited about testing a thing that you will play again later in the game's development.
I mean, that's the entire beta experience. All of it. You will play
Yeah,
again
I guess
later.
you're right. Yeah.
And also, thank God for raid testers. How the hell else am I going to learn boss mechanics?
No, we ought to have a tester appreciation day anyway, because everybody who's testing everything, the quest lines, making sure, quests aren't bugged and character stuff's working right and all the balance stuff, like it's required and needed, and it's wonderful that people are going to beta test this thing. I just can't be that guy that just hardcore tests. I just can't do it.
Wrath of Lich King was the last time I played a ton of the beta.
Yeah.
And I just go in and get little tastes right now.
I will tell you this was pretty funny. So I'm doing the introductory stuff in the Maw, and I did a quest, went and finished it, went and talked to whoever and turned it in. And at the bottom, like they do in these betas and alphas, they have a little window that says, how did your quest go? Or basically, how did this quest go? And they want you to say, oh, it got bugged, or I lost this, or the thing glitched out, or whatever. But I thought, does anyone use this just to say that went great and there was no problem? So I decided to do that. So I wrote, that was awesome, no problems at all. And then just sent it. And I don't know if that's like annoying for them to get that kind of thing, because I think they only want bugs, but I don't know.
They're like, oh, someone sent a ticket. I need to look at this. Oh, damn it. They're just complimenting.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. But the way they do it, the way they asked, it was impossible for me to ignore it, because it was just, how was your experience?
I think it's like,
I
think it's like when you have a call from a call center person and you answer and it takes you 30 seconds to explain to them, I'm sorry, I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's like you think you're being nice, but really they'd rather you hung up on them because you're wasting their time essentially. And
they prefer you interrupted
That's
them.
how it feels for that quest.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's right. I was going to say something else about that. Oh, so they have in all of the character creation screen animation preview things that have not existed in the game before. And this wasn't even in the alpha. But when you go choose a mage, for example, let's say it's a lady mage, she'll suddenly just go moving her arms around and do some big ice move, and then a whole bunch of fire comes out of the sky and lands all around her. If you do a warlock, you do all kinds of spell animation, and then a bunch of little undead dudes pop up everywhere. Every class has this flourish now while you're creating the character, where they'll sort of animate some badass move.
I hope hunters just feed their pet.
Awesome. It looks really awesome, and then you log in and they ask you to go kill a rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and also the preview is not showing you in your junior clothes. It's showing you in some advanced gear with a really cool weapon, because they want you to that's the future me. But then when you actually start, you're in rags and, whatever. But anyway, it was still cool. It looked cool. Very weird seeing the world at level 50. No, yeah, 50. That was weird. So saying, here's a fully maxed out character for you to try, and you pop him up and you're like, oh my gosh, dude, everyone in here is like level 45, level 50, level whatever. That's a weird thing. The level squish is going to take me a little bit to get used to. Just my brain wrapping its head around.
I mean,
this
they've been
idea.
50 in the alpha the whole time, and it hasn't even really struck me.
It throws me. I don't know why.
I think of levels as so arbitrary. I'm sure it will hit me when I actually go level a new character.
Yeah.
But like in my time with the alpha, it hasn't even really struck me as anything to notice.
Well, when you make a new character and you're leveling him through areas that used to be level 30 and it's now level, I don't know, 8. That's going to seem really weird. So I don't know. For whatever reason, I've got a little cognitive disconnect with it, which I'm sure they're aware of. I mean, they still say the detailed information about the physical collector's edition keeps mentioning the 130 level character boost, which doesn't exist. Like, there is no 130. But what are you going to say on that box? It comes with a free 50 to 60 level boost. And if you're not following WoW like we are, you're like, what? That's weird. Why would you level? I don't want a free level.
I mean, on the box, if they do that, which I'm assuming they would, they should probably put like in small text below that, the new cap is 60.
Yeah, or something, right? Because it's going to be confusing no matter what. But what a funny little detail that they kind of have to address. But
or something like along the lines of be ready to jump straight into Shadowlands, something like that.
Yeah. Legendary rune crafting was talked about. They also have shown a bunch of UI since then, and this was visible in the build I was playing. It'll be testable soon as well, although not necessarily at the launch of this week's beta launch. They say they're similar to Legion legendaries, but the way they are obtained is controlled by the player instead of RNG. So that seems like that's talking to people who hate RNG. And there are plenty of those people. So
it was a big sore spot in Legion.
Yeah. One of the few, actually, for me. I liked everything else about that expansion, really, but its reliance on RNG in a few of the ways it did certain systems, including getting legendaries at all, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that. I hated
it got
that
better, but it took a while to get there.
Yeah, they had to tweak it a lot. They say there will be focused PvP testing soon as well, but not right away. They want to have the pacing of PvP fleshed out better going into the expansion. So some sort of rigorous testing of PvP will be available in the beta phase at some point, just not right away. They did say Covenant campaign testing will be available soon as well, so that's not a thing yet. But they say they are unique story campaigns linked to your Covenant that will unlock rewards and cosmetics. That's all stuff we knew before, but if you're hoping to dive right in and really hunker down on testing Covenant campaign stuff, you're going to have to wait a little bit of time.
I mean, that is a huge portion of the game that we haven't been able to mess around with in alpha yet.
Yeah. And they've shown really detailed previews over the last few days.
Yep.
That look amazing, like really cool, interesting, unique stuff per Covenant. I recommend checking out either Wowhead or MMO Champion or somewhere where they've got all this stuff laid out, or the official site has it.
And Eliason did a good preview on. They've got a couple videos up, but he did one where he specifically previews like the unique event for the Venthyr.
Yeah, it's cool. The uniqueness is really grabbing me. I was worried about that. I was worried about it saying, well, they're all unique, but at the end of the day, are they that unique? Is it just sort of like, it's like saying, well, this guy's got a plane and this guy's got a dirigible. So which one do you want?
It is pretty weird.
Yeah.
But also potentially cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still gun shy after how many systems we tried in BFA, and some of them were just very forgettable.
Some did not work. Let's put that out there. All right. What else? They also want to test the pacing of character progression. Characters will probably be wiped at the end of the month and character copies enabled. So I want to make a copy of GURP. I should be able to at some point during the beta, but they're going to wipe characters as they move forward. Always not a risk, but you're never carrying that character into retail. That's just the way beta testing goes. So I shouldn't probably have to tell anybody that. Some of the significant game updates that were mentioned, Torghast will be completely ungated and have no currency system to run it. The character artists are listening to feedback, and wish lists for further customization are being made. He mentioned this.
That's a really big one.
It is a big one. That's a huge one. Yeah.
No
gating.
I mean, certainly there's going to be some cap for the legendary material you can get.
Yes. There's also going to be a way to get keys to start at higher levels of Torghast than if you get to, I believe the chest, don't quote me on this, but if you get to a certain point at that higher level, you will get all the rewards for the lower levels you skipped.
It's like a proper roguelike is what that is. I like that. That's a cool functional thing.
Everything I heard about Torghast in this talk.
Well, I mean, you could tell it was one of the first things he mentioned, and you could tell that player feedback has been overwhelmingly in favor of trying not to gate that thing. And I'm really glad they chose not to. I mean, I think they may be onto a really special piece of gameplay for this, and so let's really exploit it and play it and have it. And I don't know. This is the most exciting thing about the expansion right now in my head. So let's go. I'm ready. Unlocked and ready to go.
I agree. As someone who's like very gun shy about new systems, like Torghast has sold me.
Yeah. Patrick, you were already kind of on board with Torghast as a concept, right?
I mean, yeah, sure. I've tried it a little bit. I think it might have been oversold to me a little bit. I don't know. Or maybe my experience wasn't great for other reasons.
Mm.
But I love the idea. Yeah, I mean, obviously, why would you not love a roguelike that's fun and gives you crazy powers that allow you to destroy everything?
Yeah.
Of
There's
course.
always that worry, right? That it will be not gimmicky, but it will be a subsystem that will not last or carry over, and maybe it won't. Still, I mean, who knows what the next expansion has? But I already feel like it's strong enough that it could be a thing that just sticks, like just stays the way PvP stays, or that stays the way that Arena stays, or whatever, like a mode.
Or the mission table, and the mission table has evolved. By the way, it also has evolved in this one, and is almost an auto battler apparently.
Almost.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it has half the success that people that it's known in the beta. It seems like it would be a system that stays in the same way that artifacts or stuff like that
Right.
have stayed after their introduction.
They also made it doubly clear that you will choose your covenant at max level, which will unlock a lot of new endgame systems. So, duh, that's how that works. I don't know why that's even significant. It's not really.
I mean,
yeah.
there's that's something some people might not be clear on. There are actually minor but fully fledged in-game activities that depend on your covenant, and it's like complete the who is it, the Venthyr, the Bitey Boys, the vampires,
Yeah.
they have you have to
Boys.
organize and cater and take care of a party, which of course vampires, there's like a party, and you have to make sure the guests are happy and all of them have what they want, and obviously it's not like a huge thing in the game.
One might call it a masquerade.
Oh, I see.
That's true.
Just not
see,
eyes wide
it's all
shut, though.
vampires.
No eyes wide shut. We don't want that.
I don't think Eyes Wide Shut had
shame.
anything to do with vampires.
Yeah. Oh, no, it didn't. It just had to do with naked
A party?
party.
Oh,
A bit of a masquerade.
masquerade? Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one, and it's not something, it seems like these systems are not going to be a mandatory thing. It's just a fun flavor in-game activity.
Mm-hmm. They also
That's
made a
the level of
Yeah.
care they're putting into this.
I agree. They, I like what they've shown so far of the Covenant stuff, generally speaking, because it looks like, I don't know, it looks a lot. You know what? Everything looks better than BFA. Let me just say it that way. All the systems, just on their raw face of it, look like more fun than most of what we ended up with in BFA. That all sounded also good on paper, okay? A lot of that did. I remember when Islands were talked about. I was so excited for Islands. Holy crap, that was going to be the bomb. And so I hope that we're not talking about Covenants in that same tone the way we did with Islands once we got a taste of what was happening.
Well, I mean, this is just one piece of Covenants, what we're talking about here.
Right.
The larger kind of systems deep thing, which was the main focus of Ian's section of the talk.
Right.
Like, that's very Order Holly.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're making some tweaks, but they're like these aren't like entirely new systems coming out of left field.
Yeah. And I'm okay with the Order Holliness. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I liked Order Halls a lot.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I was particularly excited when is it? This is the thing. I need to. Never mind. Continue the show while I figure this out.
Oh man, there's just some calculation going on over there with Garrett. All right,
brain.
cool. It's all right. Brain farts are good. Soul binds. You can form them. Bind your soul to a member of a covenant. Unlock new abilities with a new talent tree that you can customize. This is some of the stuff that we hadn't seen before, and they have detailed all this stuff visually. So listeners, you're going to want to go check that stuff out. It's being posted everywhere, and like you said, Taliesin did a really good video series on it, which I would also check out. Anyway, empty slots in the tree will be for conduits. These are similar to relics in Legion. They are spec specific and will drop from all content. There are types that are utility, defensive, and throughput. Conduits are customizable, so you can switch them out for a small cost if you want to. Immediately when we talk about systems like this and some of the stuff that we talked about live on our co-stream last week, Garrett, it always, my very first inclination is to go, oh wait, where's the min-max in this system? Oh wait, how how is that? Sounds really cool. Like you're giving me a billion options, but at the end of the day, am I going to go to Icy Veins and find out I just want these 3? And I hate that my brain goes there, but I can't help it. And it bums me out.
Everyone's brain goes there.
Yeah, because we dealt with it in BFA. And so, I mean, they in their own comments have tried to curb those concerns, because the biggest concern is that, like, a lot of us don't, if all we're concerned about is getting the best in slot for PvE purposes, we don't want to have to go PvP.
Yeah.
And they've said that should be the case, that you should only need to go do PvP things for things that are best in slot for PvE, but like they didn't say it's guaranteed. So there are instances of that right now in BFA. And that still remains a fear of mine.
Right. It's
not just that.
Yeah.
It's also, given they have an item level, when you get a new item level with a patch, that's one of the things Taliesin was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to farm it again? There are a lot of questions for min-maxers, but I understand this is not going to be a popular opinion, but there are always these questions for min-maxers. That's always the concern.
Yeah.
And sure, you might not have to farm every tiny little bit of thing, but you would need, for example, they're destroyed when you replace it, when you place one in the slot. It's the same with gems, and some of the gems are really expensive, and you have to farm. If you're really min-maxing, you have to farm to be able to buy or create them. Maybe not to the extent that we don't know what the extent will be for soulbind conduits.
Right.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope Blizzard is making it into something that is not too demanding or time consuming, but I don't think it's going to be like you can just have an infinite amount of them, because that's just not realistic. It's still going to be a little bit involved to do, I think. So
yeah. Ian talked a bit about catch-up mechanics within these systems, and that they were trying to make more than ever this a thing that you could have a family emergency for 3 months and not be in the game, and then come back and then be able to get back to where you wanted to be. That to me is a double-edged sword, because some people see that as, oh man, I'm going to do all the work and all the latecomers are just going to get where I am without doing any of the work. So I understand those fears or those concerns, but I like that the game has enough elasticity where you feel like you're not so far behind that you're never going to catch up. And it benefits Blizzard, because they're going to get my sub more often, or people's subs more often, if they know that they can just jump back in and get back in without too much trouble or too much work. So again, not a ton of detail about what that means in practice. They didn't really say, but I think him mentioning that was interesting, and we'll see what that means, I guess, when it comes out.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, every covenant has a unique transportation network in their zones. I thought that was cool, so I pulled it out, because I don't know I haven't really looked too deep into this, but I love the concept that every covenant's like, yeah, we got light rail over here, and these guys have portals, and these other guys have an underground train, or whatever. Like, I think that's cool. Yeah. It's not just
you want to use it? Too bad if you're not in our club.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's kind of cool.
Flavor,
I mean,
right?
Yes.
Adds more of a sense of identity and importance upon whatever covenant you end up going with.
Yeah, it's just like, flavor, like Patrick says. I totally agree.
I like Chevy, not Ford. Well, sorry, these roads are for Ford only.
Sorry, we got to have quick car talk for 1 second. That new Bronco.
You didn't talk about the Bronco?
Yeah, what do you think of that Bronco?
I think it's freaking rad.
It's cool.
I'm definitely more of a car person than a truck or an off-road vehicle person, but I really like the Bronco. I think it looks really sweet.
It looks rad, and it's also 30 miles to the gallon is incredible for a truck like that.
Oh, did they put out the MPG?
They did. I'm trying to find the link where I saw it.
I am so sorry, World of Warcraft listeners.
Yeah, no, this is cool. You guys got to see it. It's a trip. It looks retro and new at the same time. I'm not even that big of a truck / even car person anymore, but I think that's cool.
I don't think retrofuturism has been nailed this well since like the 2005 Mustang.
Yeah,
I think it was the last time.
And it's also so starts at 30, which isn't too bad.
Yeah,
I
Some
don't
cool
know.
stuff.
I think it looks really good.
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah. I think it looks cool. I kind of want to.
The other big thing here was, talking about systems. We're getting into details about renown and anima and how anima feeds into gaining more renown. This is what I was starting to get into before, and I was like, nope, wait, I need to look up. I need to make sure I have Wowhead in front of me because some of the stuff is kind of hard to remember.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that stuff that's super. I mean, even in his presentation, he couldn't really go into the kind of depth in that video that even I already thought the video was pretty technical anyway, but there's some of this stuff just goes, you get in the weeds.
It was extremely technical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that ended up being the point. When we were trying to figure out what the stream was going to be, I know a very technical deep dive was one of the things that was put forward on the show, but I didn't expect it to be this technical. I thought we were going to have a little bit more kind of fun hype trailers.
Yeah.
There was like none of that.
Yeah. We're not asking for full like Hearthstone treatment on the trailers, but maybe a little something.
But I don't know. We got a little. The Moss stuff they showed was really cool. I guess I think we talked about it on the stream. Was that I think we were both expecting a little bit more of that.
Well, that's the most excited you got. Well, that and the art book, but besides the art book, when the Moss started getting shown, you perked right up. You're like, ooh, okay, because now we're matching some visuals and some animation and some music and some stuff to our imagination. And I think
what would Ice Crown look like if it was on fire?
Yeah.
Well, now you have your answer.
Yeah, that's basically it. And what I've seen so far, by the way, in those couple of days I had access to what will essentially be the beta server. It looked, the beta server. It looked great. Like really looked great. I'm excited about the look of this game.
I didn't have access to the preview build that a bunch of YouTubers and streamers got access to, but I'm friends with people who did, and so I was really concerned when I heard about Renown and Anima and all this stuff, and I'm like, this just sounds like another AP grind, which was something I did not like in Legion. Yeah. Didn't like the version of it that we got in BFA. But Taliesin did mention in his video, I'm just going to keep mentioning Taliesin because he helped me understand what the hell half of this stuff even meant, that he got a big chunk of anima from just running a dungeon.
Yep.
And that's like all I've been asking for half a decade in World of Warcraft now.
Yeah. Get rewards for doing the stuff you're doing, basically. The things you want to do that you feel like doing. Yeah. I really liked what the preview showed. In a lot of ways, and that was definitely one of them. Here's, let's see. Each covenant has a scouting map. Basically, they're called adventures. This is the new iteration of the mission table Patrick alluded to. It is. It says here it no longer has a central importance, but is an outlet for storytelling and offline progression. It's turn-based. You'll level up your soul binds, create parties, send them out on missions for loot. It almost looks like, well, like you said, Patrick, like an auto battler, or at the very least, like a turn-based, almost grid-based strategy kind of arrangement. I really need. This
looks like something that could exist on the original Game Boy.
Yes, kind of. It's a weird way of putting it, but yeah, you're totally right. I have a thing though with this, so it'll be on the mobile app that'll be updated to run the adventures, as one would expect. But once again, a system in the game that you can't access from no matter where you are. Let's say you're on a flight path. It would make sense to me that kind of thing would be a thing you could pull up and go, all right, I'm going to manage my adventure table or my adventure stuff, or before that, whatever they were called, the table. Let us do it anywhere and not just at this table on this ship or wherever the central location is, because what you're doing is you're saying to players, hey, it's actually faster for you to log out and just use your phone and then come back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
do you need to log out even?
I think you have to log out because it will say you're logged. Oh, I don't know, actually. Does it do that? I thought it did. I thought there was a conflict if you tried to do it if you tried to use your phone app at the same time you were at the table or in the game at all. I thought it was a problem, but maybe it isn't. Maybe I remember that wrong. Could have sworn once I logged in and did that. And
they're usually away in the missions for so long that I've never really thought of this as something I would do on a flight path. Well, it's not a thing I'm constantly micromanaging. It's very much an idler.
It is, but if it's more involved, like it sounds like these new ones might, or the new iteration might be, give me more to do when there's forced downtime in the game. Flight paths, sitting in town waiting for something, getting a group together, whatever. Just be able to just go, bloop, there it is, work on it. Just like if it was an app. I know it's a little less fantasy story, correct or whatever.
You could make it fantasy. Oh, you mean do you mean the integration? Like you could
Yeah, like if
make
you
it
just
a
pulled it up on a
spell
panel.
table thing.
Yeah. Now maybe that's what they would do, is let me conjure it, or something. Like just
You send a raven. All right, you go here, you go there, and then a little bird thing flies away while you're on a flight path.
Oh yeah, Arcaudatus in the chat confirms, and I think he's right. You do have to be logged out of the game to use the app. That's how it was, at least in BFA. So if that's
accessing the app while I'm logged in,
and if that's simpler than going, taking forever to get back to where the thing actually is in the world, that just seems counterproductive. I don't know. I just think Blizzard should make that easier. So we shall see. Finally, the last big point I have in here is there will be a lot of discoverable gameplay in the MAW. So one might call that emergent gameplay, at least within the constructs of WoW. But anyway, you won't be able to bring up the map and see world quests, or just be able to do that. Everything you do is under the eyes of the jailer, and you are not welcome here. It says everything you will have eventually you will have to retreat after gaining too much ire of the jailer. So you can't spend too much time in the maw. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Fantasy, I like. Practicality, that sounds like I'm being timed, or I only can...
Well, that's exactly what it is. Yes, you are being timed. So if that's how it feels...
Yeah. It feels like a burner phone. I've only got 90 minutes of calls I can make, and then I got to get out of there, and I don't love that. But yeah, we'll see in practice. I don't know. I'm probably making too big of a deal out of it, but the jailers.
No, I think that it is a little bit of a concern. I mean, obviously there are pluses and minuses to this thing. It's both a little bit more exciting and unique of an experience because you can't stay there, and the eye kind of every time you do something, the jailer is looking at you more.
Yeah.
So you get that bar that rises. They were saying it's about 25 to 30 minutes per session. And if I understand correctly, you can do it only once a day, and you will want to do it 2 to 3 times a week. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
I mean, it's fun, I think, but also, yeah, as you said, it will mean that hopefully there will be enough other things to do that you won't be sad.
Yeah.
You can only stay there for
just not a giant fan of timers. I don't like timers in anything, basically. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is, the timer. So I mean, I'm concerned. That's all.
It's a soft timer. You're going to have them in many things you do. You have timers in raids. You have timers in Torghast, essentially.
Sure.
It's a timer that you have.
Well, it's more of I just don't like a fuse that's burning. I don't like a countdown. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this will feel like that. We'll see when I play it.
I get it. Yeah.
But I don't like most. I actually made a purchasing decision on a timer being removed from a game. So I just picked up Shipbreaker, which is this really cool PC game where you take big spaceships apart and sell it for scrap. It's just a ridiculously addicting thing. And anyway, I was interested in it from day one, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get this game. But then I heard, oh, well, the whole thing's around this timer. You have to do everything within a certain time range. And you always feel like you're sort of rushed or whatever. And the community feedback was, get rid of the timer, or at least give us the option not to have it. And I kept thinking, oh, I'm not getting that game till those timers are gone. And then they did it. They pulled the timers, and they got my $30. Well done, guys. You did it. You got my money. Not Shipbreaker, Luke, in the chat.
Oh, that's what I heard, too. I heard.
Yeah.
It's ship.
I figured that wasn't it, but it's what I heard.
Yeah. Hard space
you don't know.
Shipbreaker.
An indie PC game, I could see it being Shipbreaker.
I really like it.
I did play PC Building Simulator not too long ago. So
hey, side note, total sidetrack note, but Patrick, do you see the scores on this sashimi stuff so far? Pretty good. On
the what?
For Ghosts of Shishimi or Shishumi, or how the hell you say it.
God, you're so culturally insensitive.
How? I can't say the TS words very well.
Tsushima
with a T.
Tsushima.
Sashimi, like the food, like the fish, right? No?
Yes. Please refer to my comment from
before? Okay. The reviews are really good, though. Look at these guys freaking out on this. People like it.
Oh, I've seen reviews that are meddling. I would
Oh,
say.
really?
Some
IGN
people are
gave it a
saying
90. That's
very-
pretty strong, you know?
Yeah, I've seen people say it's very classic open world, and I've seen people say the ambiance and the mood and the uh, all of the Japaneseness makes it something cooler. So
All right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It is
I
definitely a
pre-ordered
game
it, so.
I'm going to buy.
Yeah, I got to end up getting this. The problem is Mario, Paper Mario and the King of the Origami whatever is coming out this weekend too, and I'm
The
torn.
Origami King.
I think I know exactly which one I am getting and which one I am not.
Oh, you're just too edgy, Garrett. That's the problem. You got to let some Mario in your life. You got to let him.
Paper
Oh,
Mario
he's gonna go
or
play Event Gear.
freaking,
That says
like,
it all.
Ronin Red Dead. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know what I'm gonna try.
Why not both? Because it's 120
true.
bucks. That's why. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, yeah, exactly. That now you know why my apprehension on a collector's edition is like I can get 2 games, or
or
really all I care about is the art book.
the one. Yeah.
Although, when you think about it, Nintendo games don't depreciate. So if you buy it physically, you could resell it. And the collector's edition is really an investment for your children's future.
Oh,
so
I
that
see.
also is
Yes, the
as
same
we-
way
as we
episode 1
established.
action figures were an investment because they made so many of them they're worth nothing.
Well, what I hope is I got one of the only. They didn't end up making them from the store, but I still have the Diablo 3 skate deck signed by the devs somewhere in here. That's the one. I'm counting on that one being the big money maker. But they need
I'll
to
trade you for my unopened Jar Jar action figure.
wait a minute. Let me think about that for just a second. No, not a chance. Although that's worth something, isn't it? That Jar Jar thing, even though everyone hates him.
Last time I checked, like $13.
Oh, well, never mind then. Lost interest already. All right, let's do this.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Why, it's the Town Crier.
All right, time for the Town Crier. Quick email from a listener. This is actually from Jarek at Wowhead. He sent this to me in a private message on Twitter, so this doesn't even count as an email.
Jarek's good people.
Jarek is great people, and he listens to the show every week and often has great feedback about certain things we talked about. In particular, Jarek from Wowhead says, "Hey Scott, on the latest episode of The Instance, you guys talked about the Gates of Encourage event. Had said something about hoping Blizzard designed things better this time around so that there were less server issues in Classic. But speaking as a developer, I think the real design issue is how the quests and everything are set up. Dealing with a massive amount of people in a single zone all at once just means a lot of bandwidth, server strain, and player computer strain. The graphics issues of players viewing a zone clogged with other players should be significantly diminished, maybe even eliminated," he means this time around, "thanks to 15 years of hardware advancements. But it still takes a lot of bandwidth for Blizzard to constantly tell every player there that the other player is also there, and what they are doing and keeping everything running. Blizzard has a lot of smart folks working to figure out how to make it a more bearable experience than the first time. But even so, I'd be a bit surprised if it actually goes off without a hitch, or at least for several servers where is the most hype or the most players. Anyway, which are likely to be also the most populated." Yeah, I agree. I hope, one would hope. So basically what he's saying is it's not so much about innovations on the server level that are going to make this better. It'll be that we're all running better clients, faster clients, computers that can easily run Classic without any hiccups. And then some should help in making all of that go better. So we'll have to see. That's not happened yet, has it? When's that happen? Shoot. We had
It's starting in July at some point, but then you have to do the whole quest thing.
Here it is, July
And,
28th. You're right. 28th, things start popping off. So you still have some time, but we'll hear back from people. I guarantee it. People will say what happened. And if it was a good experience or not, we'll know. We'll know, even if we're not playing.
Just corpse run a gnome out there, Scott. You know you want to.
I do want to. Genuinely, I do. Anyway, Jarek, thank you for that. That was awesome for you to pipe in.
I mean, just to add just a little bit to this, even on server tech, it's very difficult. For those who don't know, one of the reasons that that battle royales are possible now, basically having 100 players on the same server at the same time and having everyone know where everyone else is all the time has only been made possible with very recent tech around the time PUBG actually started becoming big. So it's not trivial to do it even with just 100 players. Obviously, the tick rate is not the same, or the update rate is not the same when you have an MMO than when you have an FPS. But yeah, it's not insignificant, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, let's see how they do. This is a big test. And honestly, if it breaks, it'll be more of a vanilla experience anyway. So I don't know. I feel like they can't really lose here unless they really F it up. So it should be fine. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Lots of stuff to process in your heads. We'd love your feedback and your thoughts and your comments. You can do it right there on the site at theinstance.net, or you can send an email to instanceshow@gmail.com. Happy to take it either way. Garrett, what's going on right now? You got a big tack coming up. Is that today? What's the plan?
It's already out.
Oh, geez. Look at you.
Yeah, you can go to amove.tv right now and get the latest episode of The Angry Chicken that covers everything revealed today in the Scholomance Academy announcement. I would also recommend head on over to youtube.com/amovetv, because I cut out just the portion where we were talking about the new card types, and included footage of the cards in action that was provided to us by Blizzard.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, no, look at that. Nice little bite-sized chunk. Go get it. amove.tv for details. And what was the YouTube channel? What was it again?
youtube.com/amovetv.
amovetv. There you go.
And then tomorrow, if everything goes according to plan, we should be talking to AZ Jackson from the Heroes of the Storm team. Or sorry, Thursday, we should be talking to AZ Jackson on Into the Nexus. It's a big week for AMove shows.
Yeah, for sure. Patrick, you've always got things going on. Anything you want to talk about?
Sure. Go to notpatrick.com and check out the sweet new site from which you can immediately subscribe to any of the shows I do in your preferred app, because there's a link specifically for your app. So go check that out. Patrick Beja. No, wait. Notpatrick.com. That's the one.
Yeah, it's new. You got to get used to it. I understand. Yeah. But notpatrick.com. Where does FrenchSpin.com go now? Same place? Is it just forward to it?
Oh, yeah. No. This is just essentially a series of links, just like a series of tubes, except it's links.
Oh, I see.
So it's not the content.
Oh, that's great. It's
perfect. A landing page.
Have you done any anger episodes about Ubisoft on any of your shows yet? If you just
yeah, Le Rendezvous Jeu in French. We're a little bit frustrated, and haven't done a Pixels on that specific topic yet.
Yeah,
but
you English speakers will just have to wait. You have to wait for or go watch the subtitles or something. But yeah, Ubisoft in hot water. It's nice to be talking about somebody who isn't Blizzard right now. So I guess, I don't know. It's not nice to talk about any of this stuff. I hate it. Games industry, get your shit together. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's it. That's the show. Thank you all for being here, hanging out with us, being a part of it. If you want all the details you need, go to theinstance.net. At the top of the show, I mentioned it. I'll say it again. We have a support system you can go help us out at. Instance Plus members get all kinds of cool stuff, and you can only sign up at theinstance.net. That'll do it for us. For me, for Patrick, for Garrett. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.